Morning, Annette. Always nice to see you.
As well. Let's talk about the market today. We're into November now. Is it still as busy and bustling as it always has been?
We are starting, and I can't believe it's November. I don't know where the year has gone. We are still seeing, a great market out there. It is balancing out, not as many multiple offers, and people are starting to plan for the next year. So that's kind of where we're seeing the market right now.
All right. So if you are looking to sell your house in the coming months, let's break down how that plan should look. What do you suggest?
Absolutely. So today we wanted to talk about just kind of the plan, and all these tips and tricks can be found on our website. So there are 10 steps that we encourage everyone to follow so that they don't get overwhelmed, because we all know when you're selling a home, it absolutely can be overwhelming. And so hopefully with some of these 10 steps, that it will be more helpful and less overwhelming for our viewers. So first and foremost, it sounds like an obvious question, but decide when you want to sell. You have to look at your time frame. So first and foremost, have a look at the market. Is it a buyer's market or is it a seller's market? And that we've been talking for a couple of years about seller's market. And that means that sellers, there's more demand for what is in the inventory versus the buyer's market where we've got more inventory than buyers. And so they have the upper hand. So it's good to know that. In addition to how quickly do you need to sell your home? Do you need to be somewhere? Do you need to get into another city? Have you already bought another home? So you need to look at how quickly you need to move. Buy first or sell first? That's the ever asking question. That's another thing that we talk about all the time.
Yeah.
It depends on what you have to sell, and it depends on where you want to go. So it's not a question that can easily be answered with one answer, right?
So,
Go ahead.
yeah, no, these seem like the absolute biggest questions, but I could see how everything else will fall into place once you get these questions answered. But these are also the questions I would imagine you ask your clients right out of the gate, which is number 2, right? Find the realtor who works for you so that between the two of you, you can then answer those questions and go from there.
Absolutely. And that's something that we really strongly encourage. And we have some helpful tips again on the website. Yet interview a realtor, interview some that you have been recommended. Look at who is the local knowledge in that area. It is important to find someone that you click with. It's not all about the price point. Some people say, well, I'm going to go with the person who gave us the highest price for our home. And that's not necessarily where you want to be. You want to be with someone that is trustworthy, that has knowledge, that has the experience behind them. And so that's really important. It's not just all about price.
When you say specific, Colleen, when you say specific area, you mean like neighborhood, right? Like someone who really knows, like you know Stittsville, Canada really well. So if someone wants to sell a house in Canada Lakes, you're a good person to ask versus someone who works in the Orleans end of town or the Barrhaven end of town, right? Like somebody who sells and buys homes in those specific neighborhoods?
Absolutely. And we have people in our brokerage that work in those areas. And so we absolutely, and on our team. So we definitely leverage that and make sure that you work with the right person. Born and raised in Ottawa, shamelessly. There isn't many neighborhoods I haven't lived in, but find someone that you click with. So because that's really important. It's not all about just putting a sign on the lawn. It's not. You need to find that experience and knowledge behind you. So once you've done that, then we go to step 3.
Okay, step 3 is about signing a listing agreement. What goes into that?
So a listing agreement is a big legal document that can be scary for some people, and yet there are some really good components that needs to be highlighted on it. And what a listing agreement does, it's a document that is provincial-wide and has been vetted by many, many lawyers. And what it represents is basically the relationship, the legal relationship between you and your realtor. And it sets out various guidelines for that relationship, including not only including price, but how long the contract is. So, and also if you're nervous about it, we have kind of the Coles Notes version available for general use as well. So the big thing with a listing agreement, you'll see right at the top of the listing agreement, it says exclusive or multiple listing service. And what does that mean? So when you sign a listing agreement, when you hire a realtor before you sell, often we have it signed exclusive. Mm-hmm. And what exclusive means is you have bound yourself to that realtor as well as that brokerage. Please remember that a listing belongs to a brokerage, not just the individual agent. So, and with exclusive, you're not on MLS, realtor.ca. Exclusive just means I have a relationship with you. We are going to work together. You might even want to just go exclusive to see if the agent can bring you a buyer and not go publicly. Right. I don't necessarily encourage that. That's a conversation between you and your realtor. What it means is that you just agreed to work together versus the multiple listing option. That's where you are on MLS, realtor.ca, right, etc.
Okay.
So
that's a great conversation about exactly, what that relationship looks like between you and your realtor. We're going to continue this and move on to the next steps as well for if you're looking to sell your house. If you have any questions so far, get them to us now. Colleen's with us we're at about number 4 now. So I guess the next step, Colleen, really essentially number 4 is determining your home's asking price and what is included in that price. That's a big part of it too. Let's break that down.
Absolutely. So price is always that one big elephant in the room where, people want a certain price in their head, except, price does matter in the fact that you don't want to price your house too low because you might be leaving money on the table. It's not a tactic that I agree some people use. Yet you also don't want to price your house too high because when I talk to my clients, the biggest thing, the price should match exactly the level of expectation that the house has to offer. And so, pricing your house well will attract the most, the best buyers for your home, the ones that are financially approved and the ones that match, that are that demographic that you're trying to attract. So that's something, again, it's a big question and it's a long question. The other thing that people don't think about is what is included in that price. A lot of people are like, well, I don't want to include any of my appliances. A lot of times we are now including all 5 appliances in a home. The washer, the dryer are sometimes pulled out of that inclusions, but it is rare now. So it's something to expect when you are looking at pricing your home. If you have really high level appliances, you have the ultimate wolf stove, that will affect your price for sure. Now, the other thing that people aren't thinking about, though, are their light fixtures and their curtains, etc. If there are certain light fixtures that are sentimental, or one of those light fixtures that you just spent a lot of money and you still love it, it might be one of these times before you sell to swap it out with a lesser expensive light if that light really means something to you. Same as curtains. Most curtains stay with the home. But if there's some that go with, let's say, your baby's bedspread, it might be, again, time to swap them out.
All right. And then, of course, getting the home ready for sale also includes staging, and that's not something you ever recommend people take off the list.
No, and we know the viewers love talking about staging. Staging is absolutely key. So staging is not just about a deep clean, and taking down, pictures of grandma and grandpa. It's something as simple as a really good can of paint. A lot of people underestimate the value of paint. I know it can be sometimes a little overwhelming depending on the size of your home to paint. I know that in my home, I am not allowed to paint. So I do not paint well, so I would have to hire a professional. Yet there are so many things that when you get a stager in, do the recommendation, which is again a service that we offer. Uh, Sometimes the value of your home actually goes up after staging. We have decided on a price for now. Once staging is done, we often actually increase the value of a home. So it can take up to a week or two to get your home ready. Putting away, I say half pack. You are moving anyway, so why don't we take some of the stuff, whether right now your summer clothes or if you're selling in the fall, all your summer clothes, put them away, put them in boxes. A lot of people ask, is it okay if I put boxes in my garage? Absolutely. People can see what size your garage is. They expect that you are moving, so it's okay to fill your garage.
And that's a good point too, because that can be a big one. Where do you put all that stuff if you don't want to put it in storage? The garage or unfinished areas, sometimes if it's neatly placed, people can still get the idea. Another element that people I think often forget is at this stage in the game, you want to bring in a lawyer because that's a part of the process.
Yes, a lot of people are surprised that they need a lawyer. And so when you sell a home, you absolutely sell or buy a home, you absolutely need a lawyer. A lawyer is not there simply to take your money. There are a lot of legal documents that they have to go through, as well as they are there to protect you. There is only so much once a deal is closed that I can legally help with. And so the lawyers get involved if there are any changes, as well as they are there to change the title, because we all have our house under a different title. Mine is under my name, yours is under your name, Annette, but they have to do that. No one else can do that.
Right.
The other thing that lawyers do is it's called a statement of adjustments. Let's say, for example, we have all paid usually our property taxes up until the end of year right now. If I were to sell my home, I don't want that money just left there. So they move some money, whether it's between the commission and the deposit, as well as the heat and hydro that maybe you've already paid. If you live rurally, you filled up your propane tank. Was that in the agreement?
Right.
So there's a lot of moving parts that lawyers get involved with. And so when you are looking to sell or buy, you need a lawyer. And if you don't know a lawyer, I guarantee you your realtor can offer a few recommendations for sure.
Yeah, bottom line is the real estate lawyer handles all the financial transactions, so it's impossible to do it without one. All right, we're going to take a quick break about, selling your home essentially and all the steps, the 10 that your brokerage recommends. And we got to about number 7, 8, 9, which is in and of itself what you would do or what any realtor you suggest should do for putting it out there.
Absolutely. It's really important once you have your house on the market that it's not just about the sign on the lawn. We are a full service brokerage, and so we are very what we call proactive, and we actively prospect and market your home. So your realtor should be out there marketing your home as well. So something as simple as a coming soon sign can be very powerful, where neighbors and people driving by will know, oh, I've always wanted to live in this neighborhood. I can't believe, and once you put it out there, people will know. I know some people don't like sign on their lawns because they're shy, but they can be very, very powerful. And then the obvious traditional for sale sign, with that. The other thing, there's the traditional media where you can do mailers, etc. On certain neighborhoods, that still works, where people are like, I wondered what my neighbor's house was going for. That's that type of thing, especially in an older neighborhood where they don't necessarily, look online for homes. So we referenced it earlier. Another thing is MLS and the power of internet. I know for my brokerage, we talk about ColleenLyle.com all the time, yet we have 4 other websites, and one of the websites actually crashed the server because we had so much traffic due to the marketing team that I have behind me. And so it's all about how we present it. Also, make sure that your pictures are professionally done. We spend a lot of money on our photos and our videos using professional grade, even drones. We put it out there in the proper way because, as you know, right now, most people are looking for their homes online.
Right.
So you want to make sure that your home is presented well and not just, taking a photo with your phone and putting it out there. That's not going to present very well out there.
Yeah, and people are seeing it and they're looking online and they're seeing it and within seconds before they even read anything, right? They're deciding on those pictures whether or not they want to actually go and look at the house.
And if they're blurry and foggy and don't present the home well, you will get passed by. You 100% will. So I feel that it's worth my brokerage money to spend the extra money because then it results in more money in my seller's pocket.
Right.
So,
okay, we've got some questions coming in, so let's get to them. Colleen, Navid writes, is the Ottawa condo market still a good option to invest in? And if this is a good time of the year to buy one?
Great question, Navid. And the honest answer is absolutely. The condo market is still really great. There's various kinds of condos. There are town condos and there are apartment condos. But the condo market is really booming right now. We are seeing great growth and the opportunity to be an investor in the condo or starting your family and getting into the market through condo sales is one thing that I would absolutely say, Navid, do it because it will hold its value for sure.
All right, next up, we have a question coming in from Peter. Peter asks, what are the considerations of pricing an older, worn-out home in a high-end neighborhood that is likely to be demolished by the buyer?
Another good question. That's a multifaceted one, Peter. Yet I assume that he's in one of those neighborhoods where a lot of homes are getting demolished and then what we have infills. The new sexy contemporary homes are going in. Having said that, Peter, your home may have more value than you think. So there are considerations if it's worn out, etc. We have to look at what the neighborhood holds. Are there any structural issues that we have to consider? And or are we going to price it in a way where we get multiple offers? Because if it's in a high-end neighborhood, in a sought-after neighborhood, then there is a way to market your home appropriately so that you get the most buyers. It doesn't mean that we still don't clean it up and stage it out a way where at least people see the potential and the opportunity. Maybe it's the lot. As Peter said, it's probably the neighborhood, but there are some things to consider for sure.
Yeah, a lot at play there. Great questions, and thank you so much, Colleen, for answering them for us. And if you'd like to contact Colleen, you certainly can do so. There's all their information. Colleen Lyle, Real Estate and Corporate Brokerage, and ColleenLyle.com, the easiest way. Go check her out online.